Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here at my next Naruto manga review. Airspeed reads Naruto series, of course. This one is going to be for volume 16, which means the start of a brand new 3-in-1 edition. Here is the sixth 3-in-1 edition for 16, 17, and 18. So there's our main cover. I actually really like this image of Naruto. It's fairly standard, like all of these 3-in-1 covers tend to be, but this one's quite nice. And on the back we get the 3 legendary Sannin, which is pretty cool. I suppose it's basically our first time getting to see Tsunade, so that's very interesting, given that she, I think, appears towards the end of these volumes. Yeah, let's get into this. So volume 16 is called Eulogy. The kind of image that we get, that's our kind of 3-in-1 edition cover page, is this, which is okay image, but nothing overly fancy, I don't think. Covered another 9 chapters, 136 to 144. The Last Blow, The Shinobi of Konoha, Operation Destroy Konoha, terminated. Eulogy, Contact, Uchiha Itachi, Kakashi vs. Itachi, The Fourth Hokage's Legacy, and The Pursuers. So overall, I think this is an excellent volume. I think it's probably the best one so far, and I think it's one of those ones that, because it's a kind of transition between arcs, it's the end of the first big arc, big eventful arc where a lot of stuff has happened, and definitely you can tell from the quality of the art during the big moments and even afterwards. He knew that this was the kind of transition point that he needed to get right. He was ending the attack on Konoha. The third Hokage was dying, but in that kind of dying effort would do enough to force a retreat of Orochimaru. Then introducing the Akatsuki organization, introducing Sasuke's brother Itachi after so long setting him up. This is definitely the big one, setting up kind of where the series is going. This idea that there is an organization now after Naruto because he has a Ninetales within him, and they want that for some reason. And that's why Jiraiya's been away from the village for so long. He's been investigating this sort of stuff, and now he realizes that he needs to let Naruto know and train him how to use his techniques all the more so he can protect himself from this threat. So I think this volume just does such a good job at like creating just that situation that we have here, where we're transitioning from one arc to another and just making, I suppose, giving you an idea about what the bigger picture is. Obviously, we now know, I suppose he hasn't told Naruto just yet, but that Jiraiya is on this mission to find Tsunade to basically make her the 5th Hokage. And obviously we don't know what Naruto's reaction to that is just yet, but it's definitely going to be I assume it's going to be a big thing, and I suppose just getting to meet Tsunade later on, though she's not in this volume apart from a little flashback, is definitely going to be interesting. But yeah, let's get into the specifics here, and we very quickly end the Gaara Naruto fight. It's it's a kind of chapter or two of fighting. It's just he punches Gaara, but didn't quite do enough to wake him up. Gaara kind of uses his sand to kind of stop Naruto. Naruto harnesses the power of the Ninetales Fox and uses that to kind of break out and basically just kind of headbutts Gaara to wake him up, and it's this devastating move. Really cool panels. The art is amazing for this conclusion. Absolutely. A couple of the past few volumes I think have been good art at times, but otherwise like not a lot of standout images, I think. But there's so many to choose from, I think, at least in this volume and going forward. Yeah, just really impressive stuff. Gamabunta kind of goes away at this point, leaving it basically for this final battle. Just they have no chakra left. It's just going to be a full-on, physical fight. Their last efforts into one attack, and that's what we get. But at the same time, they're setting it up so that they end this fight at the same time as the Orochimaru fight ends, and so you have Sarutobi. We return to that finally, Sarutobi versus Orochimaru, and Where they are is just it's basically Saratobi deciding that he doesn't have enough strength to fully pull, Orochimaru's spirit soul out and seal him away in the same way as like the Hokages. So he's basically just said, "Look, I know you, and I know the way to kind of take you out," and that is just taking away his arms. And it's it's interesting that he's willing to die, but delivers such a blow to Orochimaru that it will be enough to kind of very much force him to retreat. Just the idea that Orochimaru is obsessed with getting all the jutsu, and so taking away basically the soul of his arms, the soul part of him that is his arms, and making his arms useless, that is what he's kind of going to do. And, the setup here is like, while Saratobi is preparing to do this, while Naruto and Gaara are preparing for their final blow, the Leaf Village basically strikes back. Orochimaru has fundamentally underestimated the people of the Leaf Village. That it's not just, Kakashi, Saratobi, Naruto who kind of have the will of fire and can kind of push themselves to that limit to become big threats in battle. So many other people in the village, all of the ninja in the village can do this, and so it's around this time that we see the parents of a lot of our characters we've met already kind of arrive on the scene. Choji's father, Ino's father, Shikamaru's father arrive, the previous generation of Ino Shigecho, and they come in and take people out. Shino's father arrives and is healing his son's poison. And what I like here is that they kind of show the next level of their children's techniques, but because they're obviously adults, experts, you see them use these more powerful versions of their techniques effortlessly. So Choji uses human boulder. Choji's father uses full-on expansion jutsu. He makes himself just into a giant. Shikamaru's father uses the same move as Shikamaru, but he can control multiple people very powerfully, and then can make a hand strangle them. That's really powerful. And then Ino's father can kind of take over people's minds and force them to kind of fight each other. And then you see, Kiba's mother arrive, and she has her own, ninja dog that has like an eye patch. It's really cool to see all these little connections as, Guy and Kakashi are still active. They're still able to fight, but they are helpless to in any way help the Hiruzen, the third Hokage, because he's trapped in the Sound Ninja 4's barrier. But basically, as the third Hokage dies, delivering that blow to Orochimaru, Naruto delivers the blow that kind of basically KOs Gaara, and it's a really powerful moment. You get the kind of the Leaf Village kind of motto. It's where 3 leaves dance, one shall find flames. The fire shadow will illuminate the village, and once again, 3 leaves shall bud anew. So the fire shadow, the Hokage, will illuminate the village, and his actions have saved the village. But a new ninja, a new kind of hero, is kind of budding anew in Naruto's most impressive victory yet over Gaara. But yeah, very, very kind of tragic moment. It's just, Saratobi is dead, but he dies with a smile on his face, knowing that he's kind of delivered such a blow to Orochimaru. It's really well done, actually. I think it's one of those ones where it's such a strong moment in the anime, and I still think the anime has an edge just because of the music, the delivery of the voice actors. But I was very impressed with how this comes across in the manga as well, and it still has the same kind of power of emotions, absolutely. But yeah, Orochimaru orders his retreat. They follow. You get a final moment with Kabuto as he leaves too. Sakura is saved. Sasuke is back up on his feet. He saves her from falling after Gaara's sand has obviously fallen away. But I really, really like the aftermath of the Gaara-Naruto fight, in that it doesn't seem like it's the end of the fight, but it fundamentally is. It's just this final, I suppose, ideological kind of thing that Naruto delivers to Gaara, just that neither of them can move, but Naruto can just about move his neck, his head, and he could kind of crawling along, no use of his arms, no use of his legs, just crawling along, inching towards Gaara, and Gaara, all he can do is speak and just say, I will not cease to exist, I won't, I refuse. And you get the flashback with Naruto, and I really like the duality of this page. Really wish they had found some way to kind of have this be a double page spread, but I really like how they do it, kind of like basically the identical layouts of just basically one page flashback of Naruto, what he experienced growing up, and then on the following page you get one page flashback of what Gaara experienced growing up. And I think that would have been really good to have across 2 pages rather than either side of 1 page. But it works so well just to show the duality between the two, how similar they are, yet the different choices they made in the end, and ultimately the fact that Gaara is shocked that Naruto could be so powerful, and how even after this crazy fight that they've been through, he can still move, he can still come towards him, and I suppose Gaara can't understand what is driving him that is more powerful than his desire to kill to exist. But he begins to freak out, and we get a really great line of just Naruto explaining to Gaara that it's effectively the love of the people who he's formed bonds with that has driven him to become so powerful, referencing what Haku had talked to Naruto about him much earlier on in the series, and that is fundamentally what Gaara has missed, and he remembers a little bit of this, but with Yashimaru and so on, he begins to sort of understand as Kankuro and Tamari take him away, and he's, I suppose at this point, beginning to understand the reason love and the thing that's on his forehead, what it means, is so powerful. So I really like that, and I do like this little moment, and I even like it in the anime as well, just subtle moment where they take him off and the insanity is kind of gone, and he just apologizes to his brother and sister for everything, and they're just they're shocked that he's being kind of so polite and nice, and they just can't believe that he's kind of like that, but something has changed within him. So just the impact that Naruto had on Gaara here is very impressive. But yeah, then we move into the chapter where we get the third Hokage's funeral, but not before establishing that someone with Sharingan eyes has arrived at the village. 2 people wearing very similar outfits, but obviously one a kind of different type of species of human, almost Kisame, as we get introduced to later. But just this idea that a Sharingan user, who we know the only people who have it are the Uchiha and Kakashi, basically. So this is the Uchiha we've been long waiting to see, and he's returned to his homeland for the first time in a while. Just establishing that, despite all this craziness of this battle that has just taken place, the Leaf Village has survived. And yeah, the funeral chapter is quite emotional. It comes across quite well. Everyone in black, and I think that actually works quite well for manga. Just seeing everyone in their outfits, and it's just all black, everything that they're wearing. It definitely has the feel of a more somber chapter than usual. And I like how they used the small flashback with Iruka, and how the third Hokage helped him get over the loss of his parents, and how Iruka reflects on that and realizes that he now has to play that role with the third Hokage's grandson, Konohamaru, and he's the one to hug Konohamaru. And Kakashi is late to the funeral, but because he went to visit the grave of Obito, who we get the name of the person who is his friend that died in the war, and who means so much to him, as we get also the I suppose Hayate Gecko's lover as well at his grave from earlier on. So just little things that they're establishing these stories, like Gecko wasn't just a random ninja who was part of the tuning exams and stuff like that. He had a potential family of his own. Kakashi has these people in his life he's lost, and just establishing that more people than just the third Hokage died during this incident. And as much as the Leaf Village survived, they lost a lot during this. And it's a really interesting chapter. They use a lot of little flashbacks, a lot of new flashbacks. Jiraiya watches Kakashi, at Obito's grave, and then he remembers being trained by the third Hokage, and we get our first, I suppose, proper look at Tsunade here, and kind of the type of personality that she has, and there's elements of Sakura definitely early on here to what she says, but just this idea that Jiraiya very much was kind of the Naruto of his group of three. Orochimaru was the Sasuke of his group of three, and so on. And it's just very interesting to see the various generations and what happened. That Jiraiya was aware that Sarutobi was always like Orochimaru this, Orochimaru that, and the one thing that connected Jiraiya and the third Hokage that they kind of bonded over was that they were both a little bit of perverts and stuff like that. So there's a funny little moment there as they kind of just reminisce about all that. Iruka delivers a nice speech about the meaning of bonds and that sort of thing, the will of fire. But after that, we get a quick scene with Orochimaru establishing that his arms are effectively paralyzed, and he's very upset about what has happened, and just get this idea that none of this would have happened if he was just able to defeat Itachi before all of this happened. He could have taken Itachi's body, and none of this would have been the case. But he does admit here that Itachi is stronger than him, or Itachi just setting him up that he is so much more powerful. Quick scene establishing that the Kazekage, Gaara's father, was in fact assassinated beforehand, and a lot of the leadership of the Sand Village was obviously caused by Orochimaru killing them and impersonating them. So they very quickly just sum it up that the Sand basically admitted to all of this that happened and quickly surrendered to the Leaf Village. The Leaf Village accepted the surrender, and that's that over. That fundamentally all of this was caused not because the Sand Village, I suppose, truly was behind, turning against the Leaf Village, but that Orochimaru played on some minor issues and created more of an issue than he originally had. Then just a lot of really important scenes here, like this transition point between arcs. A lot of reveals are happening here. To the advisors of the village, obviously the older characters arrive. I always forget what their names are. They're mentioned here somewhere. But anyway, they basically go over to Jiraiya and are just like, look, all this stuff has happened, you're back. We need a strong leader in the village now, given everything that's happened. We basically want you to be the fifth Hokage. But Jiraiya's just like, nope, I don't want to do that. I know someone who can be. There were 3 legendary Sannin. One is kind of rogue. I don't want to do it. Tsunade. Tsunade is more suited to be the fifth Hokage than I am, and so we just set up this arc of he is going to go get Tsunade back to the village because no one knows where she is, but she's still alive. And he says, okay, I'll go after her. I don't need any other shinobi. I just want to bring one guy with me, and we all know that it's Naruto. And just establishing little moments like Kisame and Itachi at the tea shop. They spot Sasuke, so Itachi spots Sasuke for the first time in a while. He's secret undercover, and then we get a brief just fight scene as Itachi kind of basically reveals himself in the village, and he initially confronts Asuma and Kurenai, and there's a kind of showdown. Kakashi shows up, and it's a big fight, and I really like what they do here in that they really set up the difference between the levels of certain shinobi. Like, Kakashi is like the best Jonin in the village. Like, he is better than Asuma and Kurenai very clearly here, just because of how he basically calms down what turns into a very dramatic situation with Asuma and Kurenai against Kisame and Itachi. And very quickly, just like, he's like, Itachi, I know about him. He became like a Black Ops commander at like 13. He is an actual, master of the Sharingan. Like, you have to be careful around him, and because he has some experience with the Sharingan himself, he takes command of the situation. But we get that, very quickly Kakashi is somewhat of a match for Itachi, but really that's not the case. And that makes sense, I suppose, given that Kakashi was somewhat afraid of having to go one-on-one with Orochimaru, and Orochimaru has just admitted that Itachi is stronger than him, so the power levels are making sense here. But even Kakashi can't counter the Itachi's Sharingan, and we get the first mention of the Mangekyo Sharingan technique, though they don't show the difference in the pattern. Now, I'm not sure if that's just a visual thing here, in that they don't show us it changing, or he hadn't yet decided that the Mangekyo would have a change in the eye. It's weird because they show him activating the technique in a close-up on his Sharingan with the 3 kind of spiral things, but not the Mangekyo pattern. And then you don't actually see his eyes again after he uses the technique. So I'm not sure if he's just keeping that hidden right now, or if it's meant to be something or not. But anyway, he uses the Tsukiyomi, not the infinite Tsukiyomi, on Kakashi, and basically has him experience 72 hours of stabbing in a moment, and he still survives after that. And after that, the big moment is just that Guy arrives when Kakashi's in trouble, and he reveals that he is actually a good counter to the Sharingan, because he's sparred with Kakashi so much. He has developed this technique where he can basically just stare at someone's feet, so he can avoid the eyes and all this genjutsu stuff, and just he's analyzed Kakashi's patterns so much, and can know what techniques Kakashi is doing just by staring at his feet and like the lower section of his body, and kind of recommending everyone else do the same. But you get the kind of Kakashi Guy pairing off with Kisame, and Kisame being interested in Guy, and that he sees him as this kind of beast of battle, and he's interested in fighting him. But very quickly Itachi and Ko retreat, and the last couple of moments to mention are really just that Jiraiya has met in private with Kakashi and basically saying, I'm going to take over Naruto's training from here on out. You focus on Sasuke. I know the whole thing with him and his brother. You have to help him master the Sharingan. I'll help Naruto master his Nine Tails stuff. And we get the mention of like Naruto being the 4th Hokage's legacy, and that Itachi is back in the village not for Sasuke, but because the organization, the Akatsuki, are actually after Naruto, and we get later on revealed that it's because of the Nine Tails. And that's the danger in play here. And then we just end with this like obviously Naruto and Jiraiya leave the village. They arrive at a place where they're resting as part of their journey, and then Itachi knocks at the door and Naruto answers, and he's there confronting Naruto. So he's managed to very quickly catch up with Naruto, and stuff is about to go down because Sasuke overheard that Itachi was back in the village, and he becomes obsessed and chases after Jiraiya and Naruto. So big events happening all over this book. The final bit things I'll talk about here is just my favorite character from this volume is going to be Naruto. I really like what they did with him at the end of the Gaara fight, just showing his power, showing what drives him. You know, the protecting the people that he cares about is what makes him stronger. I really like the stuff that it did with him there, and then making him important later on and setting up that he's going to do more training with Jiraiya. I think Itachi's cool, but I think just the stuff in the early chapters in this volume with Naruto is so good. My favorite art stuff is going to be this double page spread of the death of Sarutobi at the same time as Naruto has his first big victory. I really like that. And then my favorite quote is going to be basically Naruto answering Gaara as to what makes him so strong. That pain of being all alone, it's not trivial. The way you feel, I don't know why, but I understand it so well, the hurt. But I've got people who care about me now. People that are important to me, I won't let you hurt them, even if I have to kill you. I will stop this. And Gaara says, why should you care about others? And he says, they saved me from my pit of loneliness, and they understand me. I couldn't live without them. I love them. And Gaara understands that that's what makes him so strong. So that's Naruto Volume 16. There are my thoughts on it. I think definitely the best volume so far. Just so much happens, and the series just goes to more places after this. So that's the review. Thanks for watching. Bye.